This episode of Osprey 101 is sponsored by Housing and Residence Life.
Hi, my name is Lauren and welcome to the Villages. So we are going to start in our kitchen. Here she is. So we're gonna have our fridge, our stove, and we're gonna have a double sink, which is really nice. Even though this kitchen seems small, it does have a lot of storage. I've found that both me and my roommate can keep everything that we need in here. We do recommend though bringing some of your own appliances because sometimes it sucks to cook on the stove. Moving on, we can see our bathroom. So you do have a really cool little utilities closet here. Like I said, there's lots of space in this place, even if it feels small. We have our bathroom sink with more storage, and we have our bathroom itself. So I think this is the space that we use the most. We have a big wide open space that we can pretty much do whatever we want with. So you are given a couch and some little chairs, and you get to decorate the rest of the space accordingly. My roommate and I use this place for homework, we eat, we hang out here. I even do a little bit of yoga. I really do like this space because it feels really wide open. We also do have our little bar. A lot of where we eat is here and do homework. This little bar is super duper cute, and it does have a little window to the kitchen. Last but not least, we have our bedroom. You obviously have your two beds for your two roommates. My roommate and I put our beds kind of in an L shape. We felt like that gave us a lot more middle space than 1 and 2. We also have our desks. You can totally move your desks anywhere you want, but we kind of use them for extra storage. And then we got our closets. Closets do definitely run a little bit small, so I recommend bringing some extra storage. Those little 4 cubes would definitely be great. I even have some underneath my bed. Underneath the bed is also another really great place for storage. Anything extra that we need, throw it underneath the bed. So as a UNF student living in the dorms, you do have to be super aware of your laundry. Sometimes it can be super busy and sometimes it can be super dead in there. So it's really great to use that Speed Queen app to get a good idea of when you should be doing your laundry. You may notice that our dorm is a little bit messy. All kind of other dorm tours you're gonna see are going to be perfect, pristine, but honestly, that is not the reality of living in college. You're going to have stuff in places stuff is probably not supposed to be, and not to sweat it. This space is not supposed to be a perfect, tidy home. This is supposed to be your home base on campus to do what you need to do and to feel comfortable. So there is stuff everywhere, but you know what? It is okay. It's okay to be a little bit messy. We're college students and that's what happens. So when you see these tours and you see these perfect clean rooms, don't freak. It never lasts that way.
The first thing that a student wants to do if they plan to live on campus for next year is to complete their academic year housing contract. What's really important that a student do during that process is look through it because it's really like a lease agreement. So that contract's going to outline rules, regulations, financial obligations, and a little bit about what our processes are gonna look like. So the biggest takeaway for any student, first year and upperclassmen, is make sure you're watching your UNF email. That's where we're gonna send all the room selection information. The way we do room selection here at UNF is that you choose your specific room. Also included in all of those communications is going to be how do I pick my roommate? How do I pull somebody in? How do I create roommate groups? And so you want to pay attention to that. And the last piece will be your time ticket. That's specifically when are you as a human going to go in and choose that room? And it may be different for you than it is for your preferred roommate or other friends. So make sure you're watching all of those emails. I think one of the first things you need to do is figure out what are your boundaries as a roommate. And for a lot of students, they may or may not have maybe lived with a sibling or with other people. So one of the first things I would suggest is even before you get to campus, think about what's going to be important in that relationship and what are your boundaries. So some of the things to think about are how clean or messy are you? What time of day do you like to go to sleep? What time of day do you like to get up? What level of noise do you have? In regards to rules and regulations, we have something called the Resident Handbook. So overall, for all UNF students, we have the Code of Student Conduct, and that's all university students have to follow as regulations. In addition, we have our Resident Handbook, and that is what guides the policies and procedures for students who live on campus. And so typically you're gonna see some things repeated from the Code of Conduct, and then some things that are really specific to living in a residence hall with people. So a lot of our rules and regulations for things to bring are gonna be associated with fire safety. You're in a communal space, we wanna make sure that you're making choices and bringing things that make sense. So as an incoming first year student, some of the options for how you can get involved, like I mentioned, you've got the living learning communities, which is a chance to live together with people in the same major, the same interest area. Those applications, there is an application deadline, and it's early June this year, so you want to make sure that you're applying by that deadline. But you can apply to up to 3, you can preference up to 3, and the faculty and staff review those. Those LLCs are going to have an earlier move-in experience. You get to come to campus 2 to 3 days before everybody else. There's a higher concentration of doubles, and part of what you can experience during that retreat will be things like going to Eco Adventure and kind of getting the inside scoop before other students on what campus is all about. You also can get involved in hall council or area council, which is kind of like a student council for the residence halls. And then as you're here on campus, if you become an upperclassman, eventually you can think about if you want to be an RA or an LCA, so resident assistant or learning community assistant.